Hey Alexia, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, finally.
Alexia continues to say finally. I don't know why. I think it's something that she saw on the internet. I personally have never heard a native speaker use that word.
It's on in the gifts from Instagram.
Yeah, it's in GIFs.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a little piece of advice. If you are confused about words like finally, you should probably talk to a real person. And they can say, "No, Alexia, I've never heard anyone say that. That's weird. Please stop saying that every Friday." And you can do that with Cambly.
I'm pretty sure that Team Alexia will be more than happy to start it. It's finally. Hashtag.
Okay, our Cambly advertisements is not the place to argue for Team Alexia or Team Foster, but seriously, guys, Cambly is one of the coolest things with language learning that I have seen in such a long time. I think about this all the time. If Cambly existed for me learning Portuguese like 4 years ago, oh my goodness.
And I was looking at their Instagram as well, and they always have like promotions and giveaways and things like that are amazing. So, with our free class with the referral code Inglês no Grupo Podcast plus one of their promotions, you are good to go. Cambly is awesome.
Cambly's awesome. Use the promotional code Inglês no Grupo Podcast when you go to Cambly.com or download the Cambly app to get your first class for free. Stop saying finally and start talking to native speakers. Let's get on with the show.
Or you could teach your future English teacher the new hashtag. It's finally.
On with the show. Hey Alexia, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Foster.
How are you?
I am fine. What about you?
I'm doing great. And unfortunately, today I'm in a little rush because I have to teach a lot of classes very soon. So we got to get directly to the point.
Okay.
So today is part 5, the last part of the rules of language learning. We are talking about just general language learning rules from Ali Richards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the last 4 episodes, the previous 4 episodes.
And this episode is what I find the most curious.
Okay, we will talk about that. So rule number 5 is review, review, review.
Yes, and it's all about repetition, right?
Yes.
So the more you review, the more you repeat, and there you go, is a circle of life of your English. And it's one of the most important parts of sound school as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's something I've wanted to incorporate more into sound school because you cannot review enough, honestly.
Yeah. So I think that Ali was trying to explain that if you learn a new phrase, a new vocabulary, a new expression, you have to listen to it and say it like 1,000 times before it becomes natural for you.
Yeah. So when I was first learning Spanish, this was probably 10 or 12 years ago, they told me, they meaning language teachers and language people, that to really learn a word, to commit a word to memory, it takes more or less 6 to 10 times to really have that in your head automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Ali says that now people are suggesting it takes at least 17 exposures, and that is in your native language. So, in a foreign language, maybe you need to see a word or phrase or listen to a word or phrase like 30 or 40 times before it is really in your head and you can produce it automatically.
Yeah, just like what happened with me with two situations. First one, number three, the three. You were trying to get me to say it correctly, and I couldn't. And then one day in the car, it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was practicing by myself in the shower and things like that.
Oh, yeah. And I forced you to say it literally thousands of times.
Yeah, and the second one, it was a tongue twister.
Hmm.
How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Excellent. That
Yes.
is my girl.
So, for me to say it nowadays, the th sound and th words and the would, could, chuck, and this sounds,
Hmm.
it took me a while. And I always get emails and direct messages and inboxes asking like, "Oh, this is so hard. I tried for so long and I can't say this correctly." It's because you didn't try enough. That's my point. You have to continue doing it.
Yeah. Or not even necessarily that you did not try enough, but perhaps you did not review enough. So, an important point that Ali mentions in the video is that in traditional language classes and courses, you have a subject for today, you learn vocabulary, and then maybe you have like a short quiz on that vocabulary. And then during the next class, you're talking about something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So, in quotations, you learned new vocabulary, but you didn't really learn it.
No.
If you cannot produce a word or a phrase automatically, you didn't learn that shit. You just saw it in the page of a book.
Yes.
So the difference between seeing and learning, the difference between studying and learning, that's super, super important.
Yeah. And every time that you have a new material, a new thing that you're learning,
Mm-hmm.
you should review it for 10 minutes a day after, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is something that a lot of language students don't think about or give enough attention to is just the importance of review in general. What I like to do personally, if I'm going to study Portuguese, let's say I'm listening to a podcast and I'm taking notes about vocabulary, the next day before I listen to another podcast, I like to sit down and review what I studied the previous day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for like 10 minutes, just to give that extra little boost of, okay, I need to really focus and get this into my brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, repetition and review. I mean, we already talked about discipline and focus and how you should do this and that, but without reviewing and without repetition. Repetition?
Repetition.
Without the repetition.
Yeah.
Without the repetition, sorry. You're not going to be able to do any of those.
Yeah. So, can I finish with a slightly long story, but I'll try to keep it short?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's this podcast to learn Spanish called Notes in Spanish.
We already talked about it.
We've talked about it many times on the podcast. In many ways, they were the influence that kind of helped us create Inglês no Cru, simply because they helped me so much with my Spanish. I love them and I wanted to do something similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have podcasts for beginners, intermediates, advanced. They have like a gold VIP section. I think they have almost 500 episodes. So I have listened to all 500 episodes, I would say at least 4 times.
I don't doubt it.
And my favorite episodes, I've listened to like 20 times.
And then you made me listen to it before we went to Chile, Uruguay, and Argentina.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I will listen to a podcast episode and then I will take notes on it. Then I will look at the transcript and then I will listen to it again. And then 2 weeks later, I listen to it again and really practice is what makes something permanent.
Yes.
You know, there's no lack of information in the world. It is just choosing information that works for you and then drilling that into your head until it is so automatic that it just flows out of your mouth like gold.
Perfect. Beautiful, amor.
Yeah, gold doesn't flow out of your mouth, but I was scared to say something weird.
No, I think it was perfect, and I think it was a good week.
A good week. A good week of the rules of language learning. We would love to hear your opinions. And if you are thinking, what should I do with my language skills right now after learning all of these new rules? I would suggest maybe go back to some of the first episodes of Inglês no Rádio, episodes that you enjoyed. Listen to them again
And
and
again.
again. And then just keep hitting the download or the play button because that really helps us up
And-
here.
And then you grab our worksheets, and then you start reading with the worksheets.
And then you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Castbox or wherever you listen to. Okay, sorry for ending on a marketing note, but it's Friday and we have to go.
Okie dokie. So, bye, Foster.
Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye. Oi, pessoal. Obrigada por escutar mais um episódio do Inglês no Rádio. Por agora, nós não estamos aceitando novos alunos para o Sound School. Mas, enquanto isso, tem umas coisinhas bem legais que vão te ajudar com seu inglês e que também vão apoiar esse podcast mais amado dos brasileiros. Nós acabamos de lançar um novo recurso chamado Friday Freebies. A cada sexta-feira, vamos mandar para você um novo recurso que criamos para te ajudar a melhorar cada vez mais o seu inglês e também algumas coisas bem engraçadas como behind the scenes da gente. Então, para ficar por dentro disso tudo, é só acessar www.inglesnoicru.com/free, tá? Você também pode entrar na lista de espera do Sound School e também será o primeiro a saber quando as novas applications serão abertas. Você também pode deixar uma review pra gente, hein? Juro, isso ajuda muito, 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 muito. Tudo isso e mais um pouco no inglesnoicru.com. Então vai lá e, como sempre, keep up the good fight and lose well.